Hi guys, welcome back. So this is my fourth attempt to record this video. Um, and if it doesn't go through this time, then it's just not meant for me to record today. So welcome back. Um, we are after Christmas now, and I am so glad that Christmas is over. I can't tell you. I don't know how you guys feel, but I could not wait for Christmas to be over with. Like, it was so chaotic and stressful. Just the on the go for 2 weeks straight, not really eating right, not sleeping right. Um, Emotions are like going high and low and high and low. And, you know, a lot of us struggle with depression, and, there's seasonal depression, where people just get depressed around the holidays. Um, I have depression. I can't say I have depression year round. I am being treated for depression. I'm on antidepressants. Um, do I feel depressed? Not every day. Sometimes I do feel depressed. I'm struggling a little bit more with my depression because I have some strained relationships right now, and this was the same thing last year. Um, Only last year it was one of my daughters and not the other. Now it's this year it's the other one. So they always alternate. They always alternate. My They're all in their 30s, mind you, and but this isn't what this video is about. This is just trying to say how I am getting through the holidays with my emotional sadness. Christmas Eve is usually the time that we all get together. It's always been that way since forever. And this Christmas Eve was the first time that none of my kids were with me. Um, my youngest daughter is still living in Las Vegas, and they were not able to make it out for Christmas. So um, I was really bummed out about that, but I made sure that they had a good Christmas, and we're gonna make up for it when they move back, and that should be this spring. So I'm really looking forward to that. Looking forward to some new little babies coming, and I'm praying and putting the baby vibe out there so that I just think they're gonna be a really awesome, you know, mom and dad, awesome parents, and they both are really um, goal oriented and very responsible. And, my daughter's 24, she'll be 24. Um, and my son in law's 30. So um, I think they're ready to start. I don't know. I can't speak for them, but I'm hoping that, there's a baby in the future soon. We need some good things to happen. It's been a rough year. It's been a rough year. Coming to the end of the year now, I can only speak for myself, but I know for so many others who are struggling with depression and, anxiety and just mood disorders, bipolar, schizophrenia, just mental illness in general. I know it's so hard, you guys. And I mean, not everybody's fortunate enough to be able to, seek treatment, to have doctors and, insurance that you can actually go see a therapist or a doctor on a regular basis, just to maintain your physical um, along with your mental, because I think if we get our mental health under control, that can avoid a lot of physical, because your mental health really does affect your physical body. Um, and I know it kind of sounds crazy, but it really does. Um, for me, my side effects are body aches, fatigue, pain, severe pain, and yeah, nausea. Sometimes I can't sleep. So this is my normal from since 2014. So um, you know, most of you know I'm medically retired. If you're new to my channel, I am a cancer survivor, 7 years, November 26th, and I get checked, annually as I'm supposed to. And as a matter of fact, I'm going for a mammogram on the 30th. So I'm just due for that. I had an MRI not too long ago on my breast. So I'm getting checked on a regular basis. And I'm having blood work done as I'm supposed to. So trying to manage all that. And then still, like, I have to go to the dentist. And it's like balance and not sleeping, not eating, um, having friction and conflicts with family, just being sad, with my own issues, and trying to stay peaceful, um, trying to have peace of mind with my health and with, yeah, this is I don't want to like speak it and own it, because I still believe that I'm going to be completely healed one day. And I know that people say, well, I mean, when you die, yeah, you're going to go to heaven and you're not going to feel any pain. But I believe that I've been through a lot, you guys. I have been through a lot. And in my life, I have, you know, this is not a woe is me channel. This is the real shit. And this is, I've told you guys, I laugh and I joke about things because you can't make this stuff up. Like, a person can't make the amount of stuff that I've been through. You can't make that up. And why would you want to? Like, why would anybody want to? Clearly, there's movies and, Lifetime movies that are not real, but it's like, that shit can really happen. But some of it's just so far fetched that it's just like, come on now, really. That's why I say I'm a lifetime movie walking, because um, I've been through abuse. I'm a childhood abuse survivor. Um, and I say survivors because I'm still alive and because it didn't consume me. And I was able to work and be a mom, and actually be a mom and a dad, because I was a single mom, trying to maintain some normalcy with my children, consistency, making sure we had a roof over our head, making sure they had clothes for school, making sure, um, we had food, and, making sure my son had counselors and big brothers and different programs, um, and trying to do all that and manage all that while struggling with mental illness. Mental illness is really big in my family. My dad was mentally ill. I mean, he was mentally ill. I believe that he was bipolar. I don't know. I know I look a little crazy, you guys, only because this, like I said, this is my fourth time recording this video. My hair was down. I'm really hot. It's really hot in here. I have my window cracked, but it's like really hot, especially with the lights on and stuff. So, just forgive me. Yeah, what can I say? Um, but yeah, I mean, my dad was bipolar, untreated bipolar. My grandma was bipolar. Um, and I don't know that if they would have gone to the doctor, would they have actually gotten a bipolar diagnosis, but all of their symptoms and all of their behaviors are that of a bipolar person. And, I was diagnosed with being bipolar, oh God, over 20 years ago. But I was also diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And there's post-traumatic stress and then complex, and that they're similar, but Complex is a little more complex, and you can just look the difference up between the two. But you know, it's just it's really hard to find balance when you don't know what balance is. So you're trying to find something that you have never had. So trying to, like when my kids were growing up, I would, get them ready, bathe at night, showers, get their clothes ready. We would have dinner most nights, at the same time. I would go around the table with all of them, and I was still childlike. Like I'm still a kid at heart. Like I'm still a kid at heart. I still laugh. I still crack jokes. I make fun of people. I'm not a bully, but everybody says I'm a bully, um, because I laugh at other people's expense. But I mean, who doesn't, right? Like, I'm not encouraging bullying. I'm not saying like hurt people, like call them names or, physically hurt them. It's just simple fun. It's just, just making fun of, I don't know, stupid stuff like, oh, nice wedgie, or or giving somebody like a wedgie. I do that to my brother, like, or I'll lick my finger and stick it in his ear, and it's like people don't expect me to do those kind of things because they're like, I mean, my family obviously, and people who know me know, like, oh my god, like she's retarded, like she's, see, and I say the word retarded, and I shouldn't say the word retarded because I'm not meaning it like challenged, special needs. I'm just, retarded means like you're so crazy, like you're silly, it's just, you gotta even watch how you talk anymore, because it's like, oh, you're crazy. Really? I'm crazy? you know and I don't take it that personal, because it's like, anymore all you hear is people saying, oh my god, you're so bipolar, or, oh god, that guy was so bipolar, or yeah, my mom is bipolar. Like, I swear, she's, one minute she's like this, one minute she's like that. People use that so loosely, and I just, when it comes to bipolar, I think that society should be just a little bit more careful. um but struggling with mental illness and trying to be a mom and trying to give your kids, I mean, the job was left to me, and their dad bailed. And I mean, I can tell you, honest to God, for all three of my oldest children, I think he probably bought, I'll be fair and say, a bag of diapers for each one of them. They're in their 30s. He owes me almost $100,000 in back child support. I'll never get that. And he told me I would never get it because I just wasn't going to get it. He said, I'll be long gone, you'll be long gone, like you're never going to see that money. So, okay, that's okay, because every dog has their day, and I did the job that God gave me to do to the best of my ability. And with no skills, no parenting skills. And I'm not blaming that on my mom and dad. I'm not going to say that, oh, my mom and dad didn't teach me how to be, this, or they didn't teach me how to budget, or they didn't teach me that, we all know right from wrong. Yes, my dad abused me. Yes, my mom, didn't take me out of the situation, but my mom was also a victim. There was a lot of abuse going on with my brothers. I was the chosen one, so everybody got verbal abuse and mental abuse, but I got physical. And as I got older, it became a little more personal, um, if you know what I mean. And so, yeah, that really plays a role in what it does to you spiritually, and what it does to you emotionally, and how it affects your relationships, and how it affects your relationship with yourself, and how it affects a healthy relationship, and what does a healthy relationship even look like. I don't know. I still, I'm 54 years old, and I can honestly say that I think I know what a healthy relationship is. I do know that it's not mental abuse or physical abuse. Um, it's somebody loving you and wanting the best for you and encouraging you and bringing out the best in you and bringing out the best in each other, and catching me when I fall and me catching you when you fall, and you know um, protecting you from the monsters out in the world, is important. And unfortunately, I never got that. I never got that protector. But without going off on a tangent, I'm just trying to say like how I've gotten through life and how I'm getting through life and how I'm doing life, still struggling with. I'm not even going to say. It's just sadness. It's just general sadness. It's I have anxiety. I'm on a medication for panic attacks, so that I think has kept me from having panic attacks. If you feel like you have a panic attack coming on, um, like I've said before, I've been to the emergency room multiple times because I thought I was having a heart attack and it was actually a panic attack, because they do mimic the same symptoms. So with women, it's kind of hard too with women because they have different symptoms than men do. So, but I am on a panic attack medicine. I am on a mood stabilizer medicine. Um, it's a mood stabilizer slash antidepressant, and it seems to work. It works. It works. I do a lot of this because there is a lot of this in my life. So, um, yeah, trains going by. Sounds like it's literally outside my window. And I cracked the window, so you're probably hearing it. Hopefully, it stopped. Um, so yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope if you're struggling with mental illness, I just I hope and I pray that like I don't even know what to say honestly, because you know there really isn't enough resources, and there really isn't enough people out there or facilities or programs that help people with mental illness who are homeless, or um, even if you have a job and you can't afford insurance. The one thing that has always bothered me about going to therapy, um, um, just seeing a therapist or a psychiatrist, this is the one thing that's always bothered me. I think it's great. I think it's great that that I've been able to go talk to people. And when I did lose my insurance for a period, I was going to church therapists and church counselors. So if you, they do have some churches, most churches have, a lot of Christian churches have therapists that you can see them, like, I think it's like 6, 7 times, in a 12-month period for free. And then like, if you want to give like a love donation, like, $5, $10, $1, whatever you can afford, or nothing at all, but they will, um, give you therapy. But the one thing that's always bothered me with therapy is, well, multiple things, but one of the things is going to therapy and you're, you know, crying and sharing, and you know you're in the heart of your whatever the topic has to be for that day, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're talking about. And then the therapist is like, well, looks like we're about to run out of time, so we can pick up where we left off next week. And it's just like, okay, so we stirred up all this stuff, I'm upset, now I gotta walk out of here and go home with this. Who do I talk to when I go home? Like, how do I get through the rest of the night? That's what's always bothered me. And I know, I mean, someone can't sit there and talk to you for 3 hours, but I mean, counseling's great. Don't get me wrong. But for me, it's just, I've had so many different psychiatrists and counselors. Um, one of the counselors I saw through a church at one time, he was a young guy. He was like just out of college. Um, and he was going to school to be a psychiatrist, I guess. I don't know. He was a therapist. But I went, one day, this was while I was still working. Um, and because I didn't want to go back to therapy through my insurance, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to go to the church that I'm going to, and I'm going to utilize their therapist. And so he was a young guy. He was probably maybe 30, if that. And so I was like telling him, this first time we met, actually this was our second visit, and I'm talking and I'm just like, getting emotional, and he's like, oh, excuse me, sorry. And I'm like, am I boring you? Like, you're yawning. You're yawning during a therapy session. Like, at that point, I was like, wow. I mean, clearly I'm wasting your time. Clearly, this is not where I need to be. I had a therapist tell me, I had gone back, and I've talked about this before. I had gone back into therapy after not being in therapy for a while. It had been like a year or two, and then I came back in, and I saw one of the therapists that was there before was there, and she said, why are you back here? You're still dealing with that? Like, you're still going through that? And it's like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Like, what do you mean, are you still dealing with that? Yeah, I am. I'm still dealing with it. I'm living with it. I wished I could let it go. I wished I knew how to let it go. I wished I knew how to pretend it didn't happen. Um, I wished I didn't have to be here. I wished I didn't have to be on medications. I've tried going off medications, and it's just, you know, I have gone off a couple. Um, I'm on just enough. I think I know that I can't be off completely. But am I crazy? No. I mean, I was abused. I was abused for 23 years. And then relationships, that I chose. There's a lot of things that I allowed as an adult. I can't, like I said, I'm not going to blame everything on my mom and dad because I didn't have parenting skills. My mom and dad got married when they were 16. They got together when they were like 15. They were little kids. And my grandfather, my dad's dad, was not a nice man. So he had mental illness. And then my grandma, I told you, had like severe anxiety. I don't think I ever saw the lady sit down. Like, she was always smoking and drinking coffee and going 90. And it was just very unhealthy and very toxic. And that's what my dad saw. And so my dad actually was worse than my grandpa. And he actually did worse. So I think, a lot of times we're either just like our parent or we are just the opposite. And I wanted to be the opposite of my dad with my kids. And so I loved my kids. Like, I encouraged them. I had the sex talk with all of them, even my son. I made sure, they were all protected. Um, I was probably too easy on them because they're very disrespectful and my son is very, very disrespectful. And I'm just going to leave it at that because he's not in a good place. And I just pray for my children. I pray for them every day because they have children. And, I did the best job that I could do. There's no book, there's no right or wrong way how to be a parent. You do the best that you can do with the tools and the skills that you have. And when you're struggling with mental illness, you know, mental illness, just that word alone, just mental illness, right away, it's just, oh, she's crazy. She's crazy. No, it's not that. It's, bad people hurting people hurt people and do bad things to people. And then we're left with the fragments to try to figure out why this happened and how do I move on from here. Um, so, I know I'm not the only one. I know there's so many of you out there who are struggling with mental illness, and maybe you're a parent, maybe your mom, your grandma. Um, and it's the holidays, and we're at the end of the year, and maybe Christmas wasn't even a reality for anybody, for some of you, um, much less, the holidays. And, some people don't even have a house, a roof over their head. They don't have transportation, you know. I was gonna do like a what I got for Christmas video, and it's like, no, like why? Like why? Like I didn't want anything for Christmas. I just really wanted to just to be happy and have peace and love, and that's really all I ever want at Christmas, because I love Christmas just for the lights and the music. And you know, I'm very grateful for what I have and what I got. But do I want to do a video? No, I don't, because some people didn't even have a Christmas. Some people didn't even have a Christmas tree because they didn't have a house to put a Christmas tree in. And I just don't think that that's fair. And so, no, I have more than enough. And I wish that I could help people. I wish I could help more people. But all I can do is just be a just a safe place to come to, a safe person. I can be, a shoulder. I can listen. I can give advice. I can, whatever that I can do within my capability, I can be there for people, and I am trying really hard to be there. And because of my health, I can't commit to doing certain things. So it's very frustrating, because I want to volunteer, and I want to, do stuff with the veterans, and I want to do stuff with, the homeless shelters and stuff. And there's just so many things that I want to do, but then it circles around back to my health. And, if I'm having a bad day, I can't show up somewhere. And it's really frustrating, because there's so many things that I want to do. There's so many, I can't work anymore. And yeah, I'm struggling with that, because I'm a people person, and my public contact is very limited. And this is one form of interacting with people. And I still, don't really get much interaction, with this, because obviously I don't have a ton of followers, and I need that in order to interact. So, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, because obviously there's at least one person who's listening to me. I do get views. Not so many people subscribe. So please subscribe to my channel, you guys. I always have good stuff, real stuff. It's never fake. It's never, I'm really just myself. And I try to, not judge. I try to be sensitive to people, because I've been through so much. Sometimes I think I'm being sensitive, and maybe I'm not being sensitive, because, for me, I've been through so much that, like, something that's horrific for you guys might be something like, oh, yeah, like, I can do that, I can handle that. Like, that's nothing, like, because I've been through so much. Like, streetwise, street smart, unfortunately, there's really not much that I haven't seen or that I don't know, whether that be drugs, addictions, mental illness, clearly, homelessness. I was homeless before. I was homeless when my oldest daughter was a baby. I was homeless in the middle of winter, and I had a car that didn't have a heater. And so, I have been to hell and back a few times. I've had a gun pulled on me. Um, I've had my head bashed into the cement before someone came to my rescue. Um, I've been choked and tortured. Um, and I was obviously almost died from my cancer. I can't even say my cancer. It's not my cancer. From the cancer that I no longer have. So I'm not claiming any of that stuff. Um, Almost died, yes. I survived. I survived. I am a survivor. Um, I always want to give my testimony and go talk to people. I want to go to churches and I want to go to just different places. And it's like, I don't know where to go and I don't know how to get it out there. And it's like, I know I'm getting to that point where like doing this is giving my testimony. Um, but there's so much more that I want to talk to a live group. I want to talk to teenagers. I want to go to the jails and talk to young girls, who were getting into trouble, because I used to get into trouble. But I mean, anything was better than being at home, and anything was better than, it was a break from getting abused. So yeah, I was getting into trouble and I was, messing around with drugs and stuff because, I mean, like I said, it was better than being home. So yeah, I want to give my testimony, but I always go back and forth with myself and say, okay, you're a survivor of this, you're a survivor of that, but are you a survivor? I survived it, but I'm still kind of struggling with it. So I don't think that we will ever completely overcome um, whatever it is that we're struggling with, whatever it is you're struggling with. I think that we can get through it, and get a good, um, a good hand on it, or handle on it. Get it under control, doable, livable. Um, but I think that just to say that I was able to be successful, I was able to. Um, did I have a lot of behind the scenes flipping out? Yeah. Crying uncontrollably, brokenhearted, like, oh my God, like my heart has just been broken so many times. Um, it's like you live with a broken heart, and that's kind of how I've been. I've had to get used to living with a broken heart, and um, you're always kind of looking for somebody to mend it, and we have to go within sometimes, and people are going to disappoint us, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have expectations from people, but we can't expect too much from people because they're human too. And nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I might say, oh, I can be that person that you can go to. I can be give you advice. I can be the ear. I can be the shoulder, but I still have my flaws and my faults and my, things that I don't do right. And maybe I might not seem very caring to somebody, maybe someone else is hurting and maybe I overlooked it and didn't realize it. I don't ever want to intentionally hurt anybody. I just really want to be a go-to, and you know, um, I just know how mental illness affects your daily life. It affects all your relationships. It affects the fact that maybe you can't even have relationships because of, what you're dealing with, your depression, or if you're dealing with toxic people. Um, I've been accused of being a toxic person, and it's like, how am I toxic? I'm staying in my little corner over here. I raised my kids. I worked, for 36 years. I'm trying to be a grandma. I'm trying to, I can't commit again. So, yeah, I can't spend a lot of time with grandkids and stuff because some days my health is bad some days, and it's not, at a place where I can actually take care of kids. So I'm limited there, but I still try to be the best person and the best mom and the best grandma that I can be and the best friend, considering all that. So we're coming on to 2020, and I am not going to go into 2020. You know, we say this everybody says this every year. Oh, you know, last year was this, and I'm going to go into the new year and I'm going to do this and this and this, and I'm going to make sure I work out, and I'm going to make sure that I'm eating good. And we all fall back into the same routine. We start going to the gym, we stop. We start eating good, we stop. Um, you know, just do your best, no matter whether it's New Year's, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, you know, whatever time of the year it is, just always be the best person that you can be, the best human that you can be. And try to be, you know, patient and loving and have a little more mercy and grace on people, because we're all just a bunch of imperfect people in an imperfect world, just trying to survive. Like, we're just trying to survive. So don't beat people down, you guys. Don't break people down. Don't try to kick people when they're down. You know, not one of us is better than the other one. And so to sit back and, you know, point out the flaws of other people, and you're crazy, he's crazy, she's crazy, you're bipolar, you're toxic, you're this, you're that. It's like, you know what? At any given moment, my mom just lost a friend on a very freak situation. She was actually getting ready to go do some last minute Christmas shopping and just started feeling a little bit dizzy, sat down on a bench in their apartment building to collect herself, and died. She died. She had a heart attack. She felt dizzy. She was getting ready to go shopping. She wasn't in a big argument with somebody. You know, you don't always have to be in the heat of the moment. And I just thought this past Christmas Eve, I had a really, really, really bad day. And I got very, very, very emotional, very out of character, very not who I want to be, very backtrack, very the olden days does, very reckless. And I was just like, God, I was so mad. I was so mad. I think I was shaking. My heart was racing. I probably could have done some damage to somebody. And I thought to myself, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I could have a heart attack. I could have a stroke. I could have, like, why? You guys, life is short. Life is short. Please. Love people while you have them. Forgive, forgive, forgive quickly. Doesn't mean you have to continue a relationship with people. Just because you forgive them, they hurt you, and that you forgive them, doesn't mean that you have to continue to keep them in your life. Just so you know, like, you can forgive somebody and just keep them at arm's length, but you don't have to have a relationship with those people who mistreat you. Okay? Love, forgive, move on, but you don't have to be abused. You should never be abused, and don't ever think that you have to be abused, because, you know, we're supposed to forgive 7 times 70 times 70 times whatever, you know, the Bible says, you know. I don't believe that you were brought into this world to be a doormat, to be mistreated or abused by anybody. And especially if you're struggling with mental illness, like, that whole thing, that combination is very, very, very lethal. And I just think we need to be a little bit, I think we need to just get our heads out of our asses and just stop being selfish and just start being there more for people and putting our needs, to a point, aside, because it can always be worse. Okay, so many people have it way worse than we do, and shame on us and shame on me to sit and cry Christmas Eve because I didn't have my family around. Well, I have a home, you know, I have more than enough, you know, I have a warm bed, I've got food in my refrigerator. I can sit here and talk without drooling. I have makeup to play with, more than enough. I have my health. I'm still alive. So, right there, I have more than enough, and I'm grateful and I'm blessed. So, anyway, you guys, check in with people. I don't know what you're doing for New Year's Eve, but just be safe. It's not about going out and getting drunk, and getting out on the roads, and people are going to be fighting if you're drinking, and just be safe. Just bring in the new year with love, joy, peace, and happiness in your heart, and wish well on others. Do well, do good. Just be a loving person to the best of your ability. But you guys, I'm here. Please leave your comments, your questions, interact with me. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already. And, I love you guys. I appreciate all of each and every one of you. I thank you for those of you who have subscribed. I thank you for those who are viewing my videos. And I just hope for my channel to grow and for me to, interact more with you guys. That's really what my goal is, to have a relationship and a friendship. And this is a no judgment zone. So come as you are. You're all welcome. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And yeah, if you're struggling, if you're hurting, I know people say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I know people say, just reach out, call the helpline. And you know what, when you're from a 0 to 100 and you're at a 500, all that is just a bunch of noise. When you're struggling with mental illness, you know what, if you don't know what I'm going through and you don't know what I've been, don't tell me, it could be worse. Don't tell me you're overreacting. Don't tell me, calm down. Like, you have to know how to treat people when you're struggling through a episode. So anyway, you guys, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. It was a long video, I know, and I was probably all over the place, but I'm sure it's in some point in this video something made sense. And so anyway, I look forward to seeing you guys in 2020. So be safe. I love you. Happy New Year, and I'll see you then.